Hi, friends. So, we're in our next chapter in the village. I'm covering this page because I already read that, but I want you to be able to see the pictures. And I looked through this one already for this chapter, and it's pretty long, so you got a lot to listen to today. All right, here we go. In the village, Mowgli walked until it came to the farmlands. They sat on a plain where cattle and buffalo grazed. First, let me start over. When we were on this page here, right? At the end, it said dawn was beginning to break. Standing straight and proud, Mowgli went down the hillside alone to meet those mysterious animals called humans. So now Mowgli is leaving all of the animals, the wolf pack that he was raised with, he's leaving all of them and he's going on down out of the jungle to the village of people. And when he gets there, now we're in this story. So I want to just stop and let you understand what happened. Mowgli was raised as a baby by these wolves, and he met Bagheera and he met Baloo, and those were his friends and teachers. And now he's leaving all the animal world and going to see who these people are that live down below in these hills and plains. So that's where we're going with the story. So this one starts a new chapter in the book, and it's in the village. Here we go again. Mowgli walked until he came to the farmlands. They sat on a plain where cattle and buffalo grazed. At one end of a ravine stood the village, and at the other end was the edge of the jungle. Mowgli went to the village gate and sat down. Soon a priest walked by, a fat man dressed in white. Mowgli opened his mouth and pointed to it to show that he was hungry. The priest's jaw dropped with surprise. A crowd soon gathered, and all the people stared, talking and pointing at Mowgli. So here's a picture with every person that saw him, even the animals. They're all looking at him because, one, he's a big boy. He's much bigger than a baby, right? And he has no clothes on. Why is he dressed like this? And they don't know where he came from, and he cannot talk. He does not talk like people talk. So they're all looking like, who is this baby, this kid, this child? Okay? Because to grown-ups, even when you're a big boy like Mowgli, you still look like a baby to grown people. So they're like, who is this baby? Where's his parents? Where's he from? Right? Why is he not dressed? He doesn't have any clothes on. So they're wondering. These people have no manners, thought Mowgli. They act like the monkeys. How wild he looks, said the priest. One woman observed, but look at his eyes. They are fierce but intelligent. Mesua, he reminds me of your boy, the one taken by the tiger. Mesua, a woman with copper bracelets on her wrists and ankles, peered at Mowgli. It was long ago when we lost our son in the jungle. It is hard to tell, yet he looks very much like my boy. The priest was a clever man, so he said, what the jungle has taken, the jungle has restored. Take the boy into your home and do not forget to reward the priest who cares for his people. Mowgli thought that Mesua looked kind, and so he followed her home. Mesua gave Mowgli some milk and a piece of bread. As Mowgli ate, she laid her hand on his head. "Are you really my son, Nathu?" she said. "Do you remember me?" Mowgli did not recognize the name she called him. "Perhaps it does not matter. From now on, I will treat you as my son," she said with tears in her eyes. "What good is it to be a man if I cannot understand man's talk?" Mowgli thought. "I must learn." Over the next days, Mowgli learned quickly. As soon as Mesua said a word, Mowgli repeated it, almost perfectly. "Baloo would be proud of me," Mowgli thought with some sadness. Living with humans was strange. At first, Mowgli refused to sleep in the hut because it seemed too much like a cage or a trap. Mesua's husband, a trader, understood. "Nathu has never seen a bed, Mesua. Let him do as he wishes for now. With time he will understand." So Mowgli slept behind the hut under the stars. For 3 months Mowgli studied the ways of the village. He wore clothes which he did not like, and he learned to plow. The children of the village made fun of him because he was different, but Mowgli ignored them. He remembered the law of the jungle, which says that it is never fair to take revenge on those who are weaker. And among the villagers, Mowgli was as strong as a bull. Every evening, a group of people gathered under a big fig tree. They told stories, especially Buldeo, the village's chief hunter. With his rifle next to him, Buldeo told fantastic, outrageous stories about animals and what he had seen them do. The eyes of the children bulged with wonder. Mowgli, who knew how the animals really lived, had to stifle his laughter with both his hands. "Oh, it is the jungle brat," said Buldeo. "If you are so wise, bring me the hide of the tiger who kills our cattle. Better yet, brat, don't talk when your elders speak." Mowgli recognized a braggart when he saw one. As time passed, Mowgli began to feel very uncomfortable. Mesua and her husband told Mowgli stories about the world beyond the jungle, where there were oceans and great iron beasts called trains. Sitting near the hearth, they were a warm presence in a way that Mother and Father Wolf, despite their great love, had never seen. Soon, Mowgli was ready to go to work. So early each morning, Mowgli rode on the back of Rama, the great herd bull, and led the cattle and buffalo out of the village. He drove them to the Wanganga River, where the buffalo wallowed in the mud. One morning, he saw a wolf waiting near the river. It was Gray Brother, the oldest of Mother and Father Wolf cubs. "I have been waiting to see you," said Gray Brother. "I bring bad news. Last night, Shere Khan bragged to a jackal that he will ambush you tonight near the entrance to the village. Right now, Shere Khan is sleeping in the ravine." "Has he eaten?" asked Mowgli. "Yes." "Then he will be slow," said Mowgli. "This is my chance to put an end to him." I have brought a wise friend, said Gray Brother. A familiar face stepped from the bush. Akela, said Mowgli, clapping his hands. It is good to see you. I have a plan. I need help. I need your help. Cut the herd in two so the bulls are by themselves. The two wolves ran in and out of the herd, barking and howling. Soon they had herded the cows and calves into one group and the bulls into another. Mowgli slipped onto Rama's back. Gray Brother drive the cows into the ravine to a place where the sides are higher than Shere Khan can jump. Then keep them there. Shall we take the bulls around? Panted Akela. Yes, Mowgli yelled, and with that he and Akela drove the thundering herd of cattle and buffalo into the forest. Mowgli's plan was simple. He and Akela would circle the bulls around to the far end of the ravine, with them at one end and Gray Brother's herd of cows blocking the other end. Shere Khan would be trapped. They soon came to the far end of the ravine. Mowgli called into the ravine. After a long time came a sleepy snarl. Who calls? Said Shere Khan. From Rama's back he cried, I, Mowgli. It is time for you to answer for all the trouble you have caused. Mowgli turned to Akela. Go, he shouted. Akela gave his best howl, and the bulls thundered down into the ravine. Their horns pointed ahead. They filled the ravine from side to side. Mowgli whooped and urged them on. Once started, there was no stopping the herd. Shere Khan heard the thunder of hooves. He lumbered down the ravine looking for an escape, but the walls were too high, and there was no way out. Turning in rage, Shere Khan saw Mowgli riding down on him. The tiger snarled, and then the herd of bulls flowed over him like a wave. Do you see that? The herd stampeded on and slowed only when it reached the herd of cows at the other end of the ravine. There Mowgli dismounted. With Gray Brother and Akela, he walked back to Shere Khan's body. The tiger was dead. Mowgli sat down next to the body of the unsheathed his knife. I must take his hide to the council rock. There was a noise around the corner of the ravine, and the two wolves hid themselves. Mowgli soon saw Buldeo. You let the herd stampede, the hunter yelled at Mowgli. You are worthless. But when he saw Shere Khan's body, Buldeo's face lit up. There is a reward of 100 rupees for his hide, he said. Well, I will overlook your stupidity. Perhaps I will give you 1 rupee if you carry the tiger's hide back for me. I need the hide for my own use, said Mowgli. That's no way to talk to the village hunter, boy, roared Buldeo. You need a beating. He reached for Mowgli. This man is bothering me, Akela. was all Mowgli said. Buldeo found himself on his back looking up into the face of a very angry wolf. A wolf who obeys a boy. It is sorcery, thought Buldeo. He lay as still as he could, expecting that Mowgli would turn into an animal too. Great King the hunter said, "Forgive me, I did not know. Will your servant eat me?" "No," said Mowgli, bending over the tiger's body. "Go in peace." Buldeo hurried to the village, looking back over his shoulders the whole way. When he got there, he told a tale of magic and sorcery that made the priest look very grave. It was nearly evening when Mowgli was done. He and the wolves drove the herd back toward the village, but at the village gate they were greeted with a shower of stones. The villagers shouted, "Sorcerer! Jungle demon! Go away!" Buldeo's rifle went off, and Mowgli could hear the bullet whiz overhead. "Last time it was because I was a human. Now it is because I am a wolf," said Mowgli. "Akela, great brother, let us go." "Do not leave, my son." Mowgli could hear Messua's voice rise above the crowd's cries. "Farewell," called Mowgli, and he and the wolves trotted away into the jungle. The moon was going down when they reached Council Rock. There they saw Mother and Father Wolf. "They have cast me out from their man pack," shouted Mowgli, "but I have defeated Shere Khan." "I am glad you have returned," said Mother Wolf. "Little brother, you have done well," said a silky voice. Bagheera came running to Mowgli. "Look well, O wolves!" Akela cried into the jungle. Slowly the wolves came to the Council Rock. Some limped from being caught in traps. Others were mangy from eating bad food. The pack had been without leadership and had fallen on hard times. There at the council rock, they saw Mowgli and Akela sitting on Shere Khan's hide. "We are tired of lawlessness," they said. "Be our wise guide, Akela, and lead us too, man cub." "I do not think I can lead you," said Mowgli, "but I will make the jungle my home again." At the edge of the council, Bagheera purred with satisfaction. And that is the end, guys, of today's long story. And I will be back again on Monday to read this next part of the story. I think there's going to only be 2 left, and then we're going to be finished. But I hope that you have been enjoying this story of the Jungle Book and our Mowgli man cub. Hopefully you will go back and you will listen to some other parts, or even from the beginning all the way to here, and then you will be ready for the next part on Monday. But until then, I want you to be good and I want you to be kind, and I will see you the next time. Okay, guys? Be good. Bye-bye.